we've got the perfect person to referee what's going on in the Peach State. She represents a district there. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene joins us now. Congresswoman, great to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me on, John. Thanks, Amanda.
I take from your Twitter feed that you're not very proud of your state today after what happened in Fulton County last night. Just give us some of the top line reaction of what you see, but also what your constituents see in last night's indictment.
You know, I've been home in Georgia for a couple of weeks now as Congress is out on recess. And so I've been talking to my family, my friends, my constituents, and also people I know through business and our construction company. And people here in Georgia are outraged. You know, we have some terrible crime statistics in the city of Atlanta. Murder is up, burglary is up, gang activity related to cartels in Mexico is up. Fentanyl deaths are outrageous, nearly 300% in my district alone. But here's the statistics that bothers me so much, John and Amanda, is every single month in the state of Georgia, and I found this out from GMA and Homeland last week, over 7,200 times a man will buy a child for sex in the state of Georgia. But Atlanta DA, Fulton County DA, prosecutor Fani Willis is using all of her resources to target President Trump because he has the audacity to run for president again in 2024. And by every single poll is winning the Republican primary and also either tying or beating Joe Biden. And she's charging him with RICO charges, racketeering, conspiracy. I'll argue that they should be charged with the same thing. Merrick Garland, Jack Smith, Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, all of them are actually conspiring with election meddling and trying to stop President Trump from becoming our president again after 2024.
Wow. Yeah, it's remarkable to see, especially when you consider you got D.C., New York, and Atlanta, and three places that have rampant crime, and then also they're focusing on President Trump. But I wanted to ask you about, what Georgians can do as far as elected Georgians. Can Georgia state legislature, can they go into a special session, suspend Georgia tax funding from Fani Willis, investigate the investigator? I mean, it seems to me that there are a number of tactics that could be allowed within the state legislature to push back on this.
Amanda, those are great questions, and I've been asking those same questions all day today. There's a lot of debate going on over what can be done. And here's what people in Georgia want to be done. People in Georgia right now, they want $1.75 gas back. That's what they want, like we had under President Trump. They're sick and tired of the inflation causing their grocery bills or electricity bills to be outrageous. So many senior citizens on fixed incomes can hardly get by month to month with their rent, grocery, and medications. Single moms and regular working families are maxing out their credit cards just to pay rent and just to put food on the table. But what Georgians really want from their Republican elected leaders here in our state is for all Republicans to join together and stop this communist takeover of our country. This should not be happening. The people's voice matters, and they should be able to vote for who they want for president. And the Democrat Party should not be turning into communists and running a regime where they take over the Justice Department and take over district attorneys' offices, prosecutors' offices, and try to put President Trump in jail for the rest of his life, giving him virtually a death sentence. This is silencing President Trump's speech. He can say whatever he wants about the 2020 election. That does not change the fact that Joe Biden is president today. So his speech is not any reason to lock him up and put him in jail. As a matter of fact, they are election meddling. They should be charged with racketeering and conspiracy, RICO charges on a federal level. These people need to be removed from office. Fani Willis should be disqualified, and people here in Georgia are absolutely sick over what they're seeing happening in Fulton County.
Congresswoman, you're a pretty red state, Georgia is, and you've got a governor who's a Republican and a Secretary of State who's a Republican. The Secretary of State ended up finding a lot of problems in Fulton County during the 2020 election, but ended up not putting him into receivership. Governor Kemp doesn't seem to have any problem with his prosecution with his comments today. How do you rate your Republican governor, your Republican Secretary of State on this issue of what's going on with President Trump?
Governor Kemp had a great opportunity today. He could have been a hero in our state. He should have come out swinging against Fani Willis and what she is doing, her abuse of justice, her communist tactics, and their coordination on the federal level with the Democrat National Party. He should have come out against this completely, but instead he took to Twitter to argue with President Trump about the 2020 election. And what I saw in that was I saw nothing but ego and pride. And that is not what I wanted to see from our governor here in Georgia. I wanted to see Republican Governor Brian Kemp coming out against this. I wanted to see him coming out with a plan to stop it. It doesn't matter how he feels about President Trump. It doesn't matter if he's still angry at President Trump for attacking him over the 2020 election. He did a good job in his governor's campaign by not attacking President Trump back. And a lot of Republican voters appreciated that. But today he failed massively on a national stage. And I would argue that we need to see all of our Republican leaders joining together to stand up against the Biden regime, because Americans do not trust our institutions. And that is a dangerous place to be in as a nation. Republican voters want Republican leaders to come together and stop the Democrat communist tactics, to stop the Biden regime, and to restore our country back to greatness. That's what they expect from everyone, from myself to our governor, to our Secretary of State, to Congress, every single Republican leader. That is what American people want. They are sick and tired of the Democrat tactics, the communist tactics from the Democrats, and they're sick and tired of government ruining their lives completely.
Congresswoman, we just got 30 seconds before we go. Speaking of defunding, Rep. Andy Ogles of Tennessee, I think it's called the You're Fired Act, to defund Jack Smith's salary. What's going to happen with that next month?
I'm really not sure. We've been working through appropriations. We have 11 more bills to pass. We've already passed one. We can use the Holman rule to line item, take out people's salaries. The special counsel, however, is funded through the Department of Justice. And this is something we have to look at to see how we can get defunded. I've been calling to defund Jack Smith and his special counsel from day one. I can guarantee you I'll work very hard with my colleagues to make that happen.
We know when you set your mind to something, you're not going to stop. Congresswoman, what a great honor to have you on today. Thanks so much. We'll be sure to get you back on real soon.